there are women that are 18 years old saying, I really think you're cute. And I think it's bizarre. If anybody tells you that dating is not a factor coming down here, I would not believe a single thing that comes out of their mouth after that.
Rob? Yeah. Are you a passport bro? Looking at my YouTube stats, most of you are men over the age of 45 from the US and Canada. And I'd bet many of you are single too. But hey, if you're not, let me know in the comments. You're watching these videos on your TVs. And that's why I'm constantly upgrading my gear to give you the best audio and video quality experience possible. Now I bring on guests like Rob because I believe he's living a story that many of you can relate to. I want to ask a favor from you that's absolutely free. If you enjoy the interviews and all the work that we put into making this content for this channel, hit that subscribe and turn on all notifications. In exchange, I'll reply to all of your comments and keep making videos based on your feedback. Today we're going to be chatting with my awesome guest that I just chatted with about cost of living, comparing Colombia to America. If you want to check that out, jump on into that video here. And we're going to be talking now about dating. So let's go ahead and get to know him again and understand who he is, and then we'll jump into the topic. So what is your name and where are you from?
I'm Rob, 63, originally from Boston, but for the past 20 years, I raised a family on the island of Martha's Vineyard, about a 45-minute boat ride off of the coast of Massachusetts.
And so you've been retired for a couple months, is it now?
Yeah, September. September, I packed my bags, went to Asia, then came down here.
Yeah, and you actually planned to do this trip years before coming here, is that correct?
Yeah, I've been to Colombia a total of 12 times, probably a total of almost a year and a half in total. But when I was in one of the coffee country villages, it really hit me that I want to be part of this. Just meeting the people, the men, the women, the nightlife, the nature, it just had so many things to offer. It just hit me that I want to be here.
So within this preparation stage of deciding that you want to retire and come to Colombia, did dating in Colombia, was that a factor for you?
Definitely. And I just want to say that if anybody tells you that dating is not a factor coming down here, I would not believe a single thing that comes out of their mouth after that. It is part of the whole Colombian scene. So yeah, quality of life, cost of living, dating, they're all 1, 2, and 3, at least for me.
I think that's pretty standard for most single retiring men, right? Because, you know, those are very important parts of your life. Who wants to retire and go be alone in a new country, right?
Exactly.
Exactly. So that was part of your reason for coming down. And now that you're down here, you are dating, correct?
I'm dating now, yeah. Early on in the process, we're kind of that getting to know you type of feel for a couple of weeks. So we'll see how it goes. Very nice woman. I'm a better person for knowing her.
And was it comfortable getting into the dating scene here as a retiree from America?
No.
No?
No. I mean, you know, you put up an ad, you write a paragraph, and then all of a sudden you're flooded with all kinds of people that are interested in getting to know you. I'll tell you that as a single guy for the past 8, 9 years up in the island, that the dating apps, you would get a couple of hits here and there, but here's another story.
And did you only use dating apps when you first started dating here, or how exactly did the dating process work for you?
Yeah, I think that it was solely the dating apps, only because I came here and it's not like I know anybody. It's not like I'm part of any community or organization. So your only outlet, I mean, you can go to bars, that's one way, but dating apps get right to the point. And it's the easiest way to meet people.
What dating apps did you use?
Tinder, which is Russian roulette. But I think that Bumble is a much better platform. It's paid, it's more expensive. And from what I can see there's a much better quality of a person that I'm looking to meet.
And let's chat a bit about the differences between dating in Colombia versus dating in America, because you came to Colombia, you think, okay, let me try out dating in a different culture. How does that compare to dating back home?
Well, first of all, it's a whole lot easier. You know, it's you meet somebody and, you know, you're getting a couple of hits in the United States, and then it's a feeling out stage, and you don't have that connection, then you disappear. Here, you're just, hit in your apps or whatever with so many wonderful women. And just by the pictures, you can kind of get a sense of, there might be some compatibility, there might not be. And then you're texting back and forth and you see if the vibe is going back and forth. And then you take it to the next stage. You meet for lunch, you meet for dinner. And I would say that it's just much, much easier than it is in the United States.
So making that connection, there's just a lot more demand, I guess, for maybe foreign men here than there would be for, a man your age there in the U.S. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think so. And I think there are a lot of different reasons for it. Economics is one. And, you're trying to sift through the people that only want you when they see you as a walking ATM machine. On the other hand, I think that my perception in talking to Colombian women over the years is that they feel a certain amount of disrespect from the Colombian men, and they'll say, I never date Colombian men. I feel that the men from Europe, from the United States, are more gentle, they're more caring.
Sure. And let's talk about the age differences. It's very common to see age gaps between a woman and a man. Mm-hmm. Have you noticed this difference here in Colombia?
Well, I will say that on the apps that I have, there are women that are 18 years old saying, I really think you're cute. And I think it's bizarre. I don't think that would ever happen in the United States. There's definitely an age gap thing going on here. I'm 63. My girlfriend that I'm dating right now, she's 45. Some people are attracted to beauty. Some people want intelligence and maturity, and you can talk about life experiences.
So when you bring up how accepted this dating, people half your age or the age gaps is very an accepted idea. It kind of reminds me of Thailand and the Philippines. I feel like those two countries are also very common for single retired men to go move abroad because they're interested in dating, and it's very common in those countries. Have you thought about going to those countries in the past as well?
Well, I've been to Thailand. I just got back. I did 2 months there. I met a couple of people organically and in restaurants on the beaches and all, and the people are so friendly there. It's almost like I didn't need an app. I will say that when it comes to dating and the age gap here in Colombia, it depends on where you are. If you're in Medellin, you're going to hit over and over and over at 63, at 83, with people that are 18, 20, 21 years old.
So from what I understand, a lot of people go to the Philippines specifically because they like dating women that speak English, and their English is fantastic. I've been to the Philippines and I loved it. And yeah, I was surprised at how amazing their English is. And that brings me to how you are dating women here in a non-English speaking country, Colombia. The people here is kind of hit or miss for English speakers. So how does that affect you and your dating experience here?
It affects it greatly. I think that if you're in Bogota, you're in Medellin, there's a whole lot more English spoken, maybe in Cartagena the same way. When you come to Pereira and many other of the smaller places like Bucaramanga, there's not a whole lot of English spoken. You're going to be relying on a translator. And, translations is black and white. And when you speak the language, you're speaking in color. So it's hard. So I'm presently going to the school about 15 minutes from here, twice a week for 90 minutes, and I'm slowly making progress. But if I want to be serious about staying here long term, or anybody who's thinking about coming here, you better be prepared to learn the language. There are some men who decide they don't have to. I don't know how they do it.
And your girlfriend that you're with now, does she speak English? She must pretty
She
decent
speaks
English, right?
a little bit. So we're relying on translators. Sometimes I surprise her. But like I was talking a little while ago, what's really great is that her English is very basic. My Spanish is basic. But because of that, I'm slowly learning Spanish that if she spoke English, it wouldn't happen. So it's really, I'm trying to look at it as a positive that she doesn't speak much English.
So besides this type of different aspect of dating in Colombia, choosing to be with a girl that doesn't speak perfect English, what other differences, cultural differences are there between dating a Colombian woman and dating back in the States?
The concept of time. My first time coming here, I had a date at 7 o'clock, and it was 7:30 and it was 8. I'm saying, where are you? I'm coming. And it was probably a total of an hour and a half later. There's no explanation. There's no apology. It's just the way it is. So I think for me, 7 o'clock is 7 o'clock. So I've just had to readjust. I'm in their culture. They're not in mine, and I have to adjust. Other things would probably be much more affection. I mean, the affection, the touch, where I think that we don't touch as much in the United States, but touching and massage on the neck just while you're out to dinner, kissing amor is a big thing, which I think took a little bit of getting used to because amor will come up pretty quick. And I think it's much more accepted in some parts of Colombia than the other. But I think that there's just the connection that you begin to experience here is much more accelerated than it is in the United States.
Let's talk a bit more about that, what you just mentioned, the speed, the pace of dating. How does that compare back to the States in terms of getting serious?
I think that there's much more of a getting to know you thing in the United States. You're going to date 1 time, 2, 3, 4, before things tend to get serious a lot of times. Here, I think it's accelerated. I think that they feel they get a sense of you, you're a good man, there's a sense of trust, and things can accelerate much more quickly than back home.
So do you think saying I love you or hearing that from your date is pretty common within the first couple dates, or how fast do you think that?
I think by the end of the first date, you'll be hearing that. Yeah, I think you.
Besides amor, which means love, which almost means I love you, right? In English, at least. Yeah. You're saying that you've heard it at the end of your first dates already?
And the thing about it is, it's not the word, it's how the word is said. It's almost like the Medellin accent makes people melt. But even here, my girlfriend, the way that she says amor, there's so much inflection, there's so much emotion in it. And it really, every time I hear it, makes me melt a little bit. It's a really good feeling. It's a confidence booster. And it makes me, in turn, want to give that same emotion back to her.
Let's talk a bit more about the red flags and scams of Medellin a bit later, because I wanted to get a bit deeper on this topic and talk a bit about the expectations that women that you have dated have had. Do you see that they have different expectations from the man as opposed to back in the States?
Perhaps. I think wherever you go in the world, still in the United States, the man is expected to pay for the date. It could be a $200 dinner and you're expected to pay for it. I think that, like my girlfriend, she wants the door open for her. She is a traditional value woman. And I totally respect, and that's the way that I was raised. If you're a gringo from the United States, from Europe, from Canada, you come down here with dollars, you come down here with euros, and you have the ability to go to a restaurant that is a little bit more than a cup of coffee at Starbucks to have this wonderful meal that is just impossible for so many people here in Colombia. So I think that is on the mind. So it's something that you have to realize.
How about for gender roles, like expectations for gender roles and for perhaps communication? Because, we communicate and the gender roles are a little bit different, I think, from back home.
I think that women tend here to be more feminine. Women tend to dress more provocatively, a lot more, I would say. And that took some getting used to. I love taking care of my woman and I like to be protected. At the same time, I'll come downstairs into the lower level of the apartment and she is cleaning the apartment head to toe. And I'm saying, you don't have to do that. She said, let me take care of it. You go and read, and showing that appreciation really means a lot to me. Do
you think a lot of retiring men that are single, they appreciate that type of traditional woman and their gender role that they have in countries like here in the Philippines and such?
In this mode here, and the gender roles are definitely there. Women are more feminine. Women are more provocative. They show more emotion. But then they don't mind cooking, they don't mind cleaning because they know that there's certain roles and they're totally fine with that.
So let's move on to the cost of dating, because we chatted about the cost of life, And we chatted mostly about accommodation, food, transportation, and especially when you're dating and you don't perhaps have a committed relationship yet, your cost of dating can really skyrocket the full budget that you have for the month. So let's jump into, what does it actually cost to date a woman here? Let's talk about a standard.
I've thought about this a couple of times, and I tend to spend more. I'm in a 6 neighborhood, so I go across the street and you can easily spend $20, $30 per person. It could be, per person for a really good meal. The other day we got Rappi, which is a food delivery service. They groceries, anything like that. And my girlfriend said she would love Frisbee, which is the equivalent of Kentucky Fried Chicken. She was so happy to just get a Rappi order. We ate chicken. We watched a movie, and I have in my mind that I've got to spend all this money, and you really don't have to. You can walk out of a 6 into a 5 and a 4, and you can get amazing food for like $5 or $6 a piece, and you can get a beer for like $1.25 or something like that, and you can have a great time.
So you say you can actually go dating quite easily without breaking the bank here, right?
Yeah, it depends on what your bank is. But I think that if you want to do it on the cheap, there's some really good, like if you want to eat like a Colombian and get Colombian fare, there's a meal that'll be $3, $4 or something like that. And I think there are a lot of expats that do exactly that. They're on a budget. They've got a nice little home. They're walking around the corner in their neighborhood, and they're not breaking the bank at all.
So having these ideas in mind about the average price of what you're going to be spending, or the average cost of going on nicer dates, and the frequency you'll be doing it, and all the experiences you have had dating, what are some financial red flags about when you perhaps first started dating? Did you have any red flags about some of the girls that you had met that you said maybe there's something wrong with this?
Well, no. At the beginning, I was green coming here. I didn't know the red flags. I quickly learned the red flags. I would say, if somebody shows up with their girlfriend or girlfriends or their mother, they're looking for a meal, and they probably have if with their mother it might be a different story, but unannounced girlfriends, they're looking for a meal. My other thing is like looking at photographs. If they're showing me photographs and in the background they're in a beautiful high-end hotel, that's giving me red flags. That's not their home. That's a hotel that they can't afford. And it's telling me a lot, especially if it's multiple photographs in multiple hotels. Other red flags. I think that I have had a lot of positive experiences. And the red flags, possessive. I think sometimes, where you're going, what's going on. And
so do you think the jealousy aspect of the culture here is kind of a turnoff for you?
It's kind of a game. Like, you can expect it, it's going to happen, and you just have to overcome it. Like, you need to chill. I'm not that guy, tranquil. And it takes a little bit of them learning about you and your values, because I think that they've been disrespected so often by the local people here, or maybe other men, maybe other gringos, I don't know.
So you came here, you said only on the green flag, not knowing about the red flags. How many dates did you go on and realize, oh, this is a red flag, and you didn't realize it coming into it?
After a while, you're coming here, you're going out on a date on this one and this one. All of a sudden, this person brings one. This person brings 2 of their girlfriends, unannounced, no reason, and there is no question that when the bill comes, they're not going to say, oh, let me take this. That is not happening. You're expected to pay for it. And for me, I pay it and I move on. That's not the type of person that I want to be associated with.
Getting away from the red flag idea, how do you know when a woman is being serious and they're ready to get into a serious relationship, as opposed to just getting to meet you and you're not sure how things are going?
I can tell the difference when I'm talking to somebody. We're going back and forth, and the women that I feel that are serious, they're asking a lot of questions. What are you looking for? How long are you going to be here? Are you close to the family? Family is really important to the Colombian people. So they're going to ask you so much, what do you do for work? And it's this long list because they're trying to get to know you, not for a short term, because that's irrelevant. When they start asking you a lot of questions and you're having this back and forth conversation, that means they're a serious person looking for a long-term relationship.
Rob,
Yeah.
are you a passport bro?
I don't think I am. But
Why
then
aren't
again, I don't think anybody's going to admit it. But I genuinely think that I'm not a passport bro.
So a passport bro is generally a guy that comes over, they're looking for getting a bunch of women, and that's not your style. What are you looking for?
Yeah, I think that if that was my style, I would be in Medellin. Almost all the men that I meet around here in the coffee region, they're not about that. It's about finding that one woman that I want to date over and over and over.
Do you think coming to the coffee region like Pereira and smaller, like mid-sized cities like this is a good idea for men that are in that situation, looking for a specific one woman to spend time with?
Yeah, I think it's a whole lot easier. And believe me, don't get me wrong, there are some wonderful, fantastic women in Medellin and Bogota. However, it's also a fact that there are women coming from all around Colombia and Venezuela because that's where the gringos are, that's where the money is. So it's hard to sift through. What are they thinking? Do they want me or do they want my money? But when you're here in the coffee region and many, many other parts of Colombia, there's not that mentality.
So if this visa situation becomes a bit too difficult, we chatted about the visa problem you had already and you're still waiting for the documents. If this turns out to be too complicated, you mentioned you were thinking about going perhaps to Asia, is that right?
Yeah. I could easily see myself picking up my bags and going to that little beach, and a friend of mine will find me a little casa for $300 a month, and Thailand is pretty cool. So yeah, if it doesn't work out here, I'm retired. I can just stuff everything in my backpack and head to another paradise.
Well, I really appreciate you giving all this information. Feel a little nucks right here.
Absolutely. Nice.
Thank you so much, Rob, and thanks for giving us all this insight about living in Colombia and also all the different aspects of dating in this amazing country. Yeah, guys, well, if you like this video and you want to see more specifics about his cost of living, like I said before, check it out here, and hasta la próxima.